Yeah. Sports reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2-5, Mr. Logical, we run this town. Real talk only, no chaser, no doubt. From the east to the west, it's the order we shout. Mic check, lights flash, game time, stay ready. 2 vets in the zone, keep the pressure real heavy. Big hits, big plays, yeah, we breaking it down. Truth rings in your speakers, every word is the crown. From the north side hustle to that southern flame. Midwest grind, west coast of the game. Sports talk kings, yeah, we wear that crown. Turn it up, let them know it's about to go down. Sports reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2-5, Mr. Logical, we run this town. Real talk only, no chaser, no doubt. From the east to the west, it's the order we shout.
It's about to go down.
After the other night, it might be about to go up. You know what I'm saying? As in the trophy going up in the air as soon as tomorrow night. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are now listening to the sounds of Sports Reports Disorder. Those sounds are brought to you by the one and only world famous, world renowned. He's cool, calm, and collected. He is Mr. Logical. Big Jers is in the building. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, down here in the where the Alamo was lost, your unorthodox statistician, 2-5. Like, review, subscribe, share, rate, do all the free things, do all the good things. Liquid death in hand, you know what I'm saying? And on top of recapping game 4, you know, I think we got a nice, interesting conversation for you later in the show as well. So let's get right to it. Mr. Logical.
Yeah.
You ready for my dad joke of the day?
Let's hear it.
So Michael Jordan had the flu game. The Knicks had the woo game. You know, so they came back from halftime. Method Man got them all inspired. And the Spurs couldn't handle, in case nobody in San Antonio ever knew, you'd have learned now. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Protect your neck.
What happened, Mr. Logical?
Oh, man. So I had to take a sip of my little liquid death here, Dr. Pepper flavor one. Honestly, the lights might have gotten too bright, and I believe the energy on the San Antonio bench started to shift when the Knicks made the run. We have the history. They have 5 20-point comebacks in the last 2 postseasons, 2 of them this season in the fourth quarter being down 22 or more. They did against Cleveland, both at home, and then they were down 20 with 9:37 left or something like that. Like score was 95-75. So even at that point, I was like, okay, it was a valiant try, but pause. I thought they blew their load to get it down to like 19, and then San Antonio came right back up. Charles Barkley talked about it. He called it stupid. I'm not going to be that way because I'm like, I didn't play the game, so I'm not going to be, one of these pundits is out here like, oh, that's so stupid. That's so stupid.
I will.
They shot way too many threes when they could have just taken it to the cup and probably got fouled. They were getting a lot of foul calls. We talked about the favorability of the whistle that went their way, but just the aggressive comeback energy that the Knicks were going to exert, you were probably going to get a lot of like foul calls or just overly aggressive Josh Hart trying to go for the block, just guys desperate to get the ball back and desperate to keep the ball out of the hoop. You're probably going to get, some foul calls. You work 16, 17 seconds off the clock, start in the third quarter. Run your offense, work your pick and roll, run all your action, and then get someone going towards the hoop. They were taking like 17 seconds in the shot clock, 14 seconds. They were getting the offensive rebound, putting another 3 back up. It's just that they played the game, like I said last week with Wendy. I think the dagger 3 he hit to tie the game up in the OKC from long range that looked a lot like the one that Steph hit about 9 years ago Not about 10 years ago at this point in OKC. I think he's creating the moment in his head and trying to create it on the floor when you don't need to. He's done it a few times where it's like, oh, this is going to be the shot that breaks their back, and then it doesn't go in, and now OG and Josh Hart are running, and it's a layup. Now the lead is 21, 19, 17. Timeout. Now the lead, you get another 5-0, 6-0 run. Now the lead's 11. Next possession, Cat comes down. Big dogs are on the baseline. Now the lead is 9. Now the game is within reach. Once it got to 9, and you're thinking, oh, we get to stop at 6. Oh, we get to stop again at 3. Once the Knicks started thinking like that, it was over. The Spurs were playing well after it got to that point. It's just the Knicks were like, man, there's nothing you can do. You catching this jab. I'm getting this jab through no matter what. You can try all you want, but I'm like, I'm so confident what we were doing. I think that's what happened.
Well, you know what? That's why this show works, because you're not going to be that guy, so allow me to be that guy. So look, first and foremost, right? Mr. Logical was talking about the whistle. And again, the Spurs did get the whistle, besides when Steph Castle wasn't out of Browns, besides when OG fouled De'Aaron Fox, whatever. But anyway, Cat got 2 fouls very quickly.
The second one was bogus.
He didn't play in the first half. He didn't play, what? I'd say 80% of the first half, and that still might be generous. It might be closer to 90. So, Riddle, read this. If Cat was on the bench for 90% of the first half, why the hell did Wemby play 44 minutes? That's number one.
I didn't know that until like somebody else mentioned that. I'm like, why? He was like, how is he playing 44 minutes at any point when you're up?
Right. Especially
once you hit
when
18, I'm keeping him on the bench until they get it to 9.
Well, especially when the thing that I've been mostly talking about this year is his minutes restriction. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this is deep waters for him. I know you always get the, hey, he's 22, he's young, he's okay, but this is his first time playing this level of minutes. You got to find a way to manicure that to where you're, especially in a game like that. Like you said, the moment they were up 18 or 20, he should have got a 5-minute minimum break. You know what I mean? At the very least. Because then you got commercials in there too, right? So then the second thing was, I go, all right, me and Mr. Logical did this show. We talked about the things that Mitch Johnson did in game 1. You know, we talked about the things he did in game 2. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why is Dylan Harper still not getting touches late in the game? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, looking back at it, he was in the game, but they didn't necessarily get him shots. He was 8 of 12. And it goes back to what we were talking about the other night. I said, Mr. Logical, in this playoff run, we haven't seen Wemby put together back-to-back games yet. He went 9 for 25, and he missed those free throws.
He went 3 for like 14, something like that in the second half.
Yeah, he went 2 for 8 from 3 overall, yeah.
I think he missed like 11 shots in a row, and it was like, how you missing 11 shots in a row when you just get to the paint? Like,
he don't want to.
Just don't even, honestly, you don't have to get to the paint. Just catch it in the dunker spot and just little baby hook.
So
just
then
literally just palm it and just do that.
So then it brought me to a couple of weeks ago. We were having a conversation and I said, damn, if you're the Sacramento Kings, you got to feel like shit because you got Mike Brown and then you got De'Aaron Fox. And then it triggered me because I was like, hey, Mike Brown got fired right after he criticized De'Aaron Fox for messing up late in the game. Or it was like the last second of the game. He fouled Jaden Ivey on a three-pointer. Jaden Ivey made it and hit the free throw. They lost by 1. He goes to the press conference and, you know, calls out De'Aaron. He gets fired. Then De'Aaron's like, yeah, Sacramento they didn't have my back because the media was saying that I was behind Mike getting fired. He's like, I still talk to Mike every week. And, you know, and so that's why he wanted out of Sacramento because they didn't have his back.
They leveraged the responsibility on him.
Right. So it wasn't just it wasn't just the layup for me, right? You know, like obviously, like I think OG fouled him. But whatever. You still don't even take that shot anyway. You dribble the ball. You know what I mean? But on top of that, and I didn't catch it in real time because, we were watching the game. Denon was watching the game with me. He don't generally watch sports. He goes, why did De'Aaron Fox, why did they foul there? And I was like, well, they had a foul to give. But I had to go back. I had to rewind because I was like, hold up. That was almost a backcourt violation. So, like, you bailed him out. I know. But he still bailed him out because it was like, you know what I mean? Like, it was still out of, like, the play still had the potential to get out of control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he was trying to.
And the foul to give didn't make any sense either because I think New York still had a timeout.
They did, yeah.
And I don't think down one. Well, you never know. Like, if you're Mike Brown, do you have a go-to play call, singular word that you can scream from the sideline in that moment? Like, if it's something that's like, if they just call it Jalen ISO, just something even that simple. Like, if you have something that simple where everybody that's on the floor knows, get it to Jalen and get here. But I just doubt that would have happened. I think they would have ended up calling the timeout anyway. Alvarado, I thought it was a backcourt, but the rules, I saw a couple of breakdowns. Mm-hmm. The ball was still in
the front court.
The back court. Yeah.
I mean,
the back
yeah.
court. Yeah. So his feet were over. He would have kept going. Mm-hmm. Like, I think just all the momentum because he was going to get trapped by Fox and Castle. If anybody on the floor other than Wemby is my help defense in that situation, if I'm De'Aaron Fox, it's Castle. Like, if I can't get Wemby over here into this trap on the base, on the sideline and a half court with a 6 foot tall point guard, I want Castle. 6'6" ball, tall, tough guy. Like, we could get this ball from him. But I think just instinctively, like, the veteran thing is just, let's get the foul so we can set up our defense. So there's always, conventional wisdom probably would have been go for the steal because I think we have the advantage here. But I don't know if he knew that it was Castle right there. I think he just was watching Alvarado bring the ball up and was like, I got to do this. But that Castle was ready to trap him on the sideline.
So I don't know if Jalen Brunson had a high IQ or if he just made a split-second decision. But then that brings me to the next point. On the inbound, before they even inbounded the ball, Wemby and Fox were Wemby and Fox were like, hey, you go. No, you go there. No, you go there. And then Jalen Brunson gets the ball, and Wemby comes out, and he takes that shot, and Lindsey's like, what? And I was like, there's nobody down there that's bigger than 6'6". You know what I mean? So the Knicks are getting that rebound. So, like, I don't know if that was a decision where he saw Wemby and he just said Wemby's not down there. Yeah.
I think the shot was, I think it was like, hey.
Because it's not like he was right behind the 3-point line.
Yeah. We're up 2-1. I got to get this ball off. Like, you can't have a Tragic Johnson moment or just trying to get the best shot. He was like, I have the guy guarding me, Wemby, is coming out from inside the 3-point line. De'Aaron Fox is coming to help. He was like, I'm going to just shoot this shot because I think I'm open. It's far, but I have enough space to get a good look at this shot. Let it go. Because the last thing you want is to dribble it out, and now you're dribbling and you're shooting a fall away bad shot. I think he was in rhythm. He stepped into the shot. It was far, but guys are shooting from that far all the time now, 28 to 30 feet.
Yeah, but there was nobody there to get the rebound.
But I don't even think he was thinking about the rebound. I think he was like, I'm not going to create an opportunity to get a better shot in less than, because I think when they inbounded the ball with 5.7
yeah, about
seconds.
5. Yeah.
So it's like, I have one dribble. Wemby's not here. De'Aaron's not getting here. I have a clear look at the basket. I'm letting it go.
Well, no, I'm not meaning it that way.
You're thinking like he was thinking that they're going to get the rebound no matter what.
Well, yeah, from the standpoint of like, hey, because generally speaking, right, you try to hold the ball for the last shot, last second, get the buzzer beater. But if I'm going to miss the shot, we got to try to get the rebound. If we can't get the rebound, we still have time to foul them, put them back on the free throw line.
The only person that they boxed out was Cat.
Yeah.
Cat was the only dude who's trying to get up. Everybody else is in there. I think Josh Hart was in the air. Obviously, OG was in the air. But
Cat got his hand on that the inbound, after that.
This is something else I thought. I thought the clock's supposed to start when somebody on the court touches the ball. Right? So as soon as it's inbounded and he touches it.
Yeah, that's why they roll it.
So if it was slightly touched and then, it actually got through and the Castle would have scored, could you review if the clock should have started or not? That's something I was thinking about. But it was going to be a win. They were going to be two of the best NBA finals at the rim plays in the history of the NBA finals if Cat doesn't tip that ball. Because Castle was dunking that ball. Yeah. That pass was online. Josh Hart was probably still thinking about the foul he committed and the layup he missed, and he kind of fell asleep. It was going to be the ultimate high and the ultimate heartbreak in the Garden if it wasn't.
And that's why for me, right? For me, there were two moments where the game really swung. Obviously, because usually when you see a comeback like this, you think, oh, this team must have been lighting it up from three, or this team. No, it was none of that.
A 23-2 run at
right, but it still wasn't like they were on fire, and it's like Reggie Miller, right, against the Knicks in the guard. It wasn't like that. It was just like the Spurs just can't score. So then, where it first swung for me was the flagrant. And I was like, yo, Wemby just got to get suspended at this point. I'm just sick of his shit. You know what I mean? So that happened, right? And then I was like, ooh, momentum. But then when Harper shot the air ball, that's when I was like, oh, this is
the crowd got into it.
Yeah, that's when I knew. That's when I had the feeling. But then Josh Hart missed the layup. And I was like, that's so New York. I was like, that is so New York. That's so Nick. Yeah, that is so Nick. And you know what I mean?
At the rim.
So, but I still don't think, and I'm not saying this just because I picked the Spurs to win.
I still
don't think it's over. No, I still don't think it's over.
The series should have been over already. The Spurs should have won. The Spurs should have swept this series. They had double-digit leads, I think, every first quarter.
Yep.
And 2 of the 4
second half.
Yeah, 2 of the 4 second halves to include. I think each one of those were in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So they've literally had the best games and lost the three of their best games they lost.
Well, what I like because I was talking about SGA at the Western Conference Finals Game 7 where I was like, his mood never changes. Like he just right. So with the Spurs walking off the court, I felt just watching them. They didn't look dejected. They didn't look like, oh, damn, maybe it didn't hit them yet, but they didn't have that look like, oh, we messed up. They just kind of had that look like, all right, guess we got to get back to work. And I'm adding Keldon Johnson to my Harrison Barnes list where no more, no more of you. You're done here. We don't need your services anymore. And but as I was looking at it, Mr. Logical, I was like, everything is still in play that I was talking about, right? Because I talked about Game 3, how the Knicks fans were ready to put the crown on that night. Said they came out Game 4, looked how they looked. The Spurs just messed it up. So now they're coming back down here tomorrow. If the Spurs win tomorrow, you got to wait all the way to Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the Knicks are coming home to close this out. We're wrapping it up in the Garden. Everybody's going to be there. And then you get Game 3 potentially all over again. As far as the pressure, I'm not talking about the X's and O's, but the actual pressure walking into that building that night, spiking them ready to party. Fat Joe is ready to party. You know what I mean?
I like your optimism here, but this is a thing that I think I might be able, not necessarily sway you with, but
no, the Spurs aren't going to win the series. I'm not going to go there.
No. I'm talking about for Game 5. Just Game 5.
Okay, go ahead.
A particular set about Game 5. Games 3 and 4 are probably two most expensive basketball games in human history, if we had to guess. I can't imagine.
Knicks fans in the building.
The Knicks fans have purchased 54% of the tickets for the San Antonio game. Reason being, it's like $3,000 to fly from New York, stay in San Antonio for a couple of days, get a ticket to the game. That wouldn't even get you in the building in Madison Square Garden. So people are flying down. So it's going to be more comfortable because those are like your hardcore fans. You're like the Wall Street guy isn't flying to San Antonio because he's like, I seen him in the Garden Game 4. I don't need to fly down to San Antonio. But the father-son Nick fan duo, the 65-year-old son, the 65-year-old dad, 40-year-old son, they are flying down. They're taking maybe one or two of the kids with them. So they might spend $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 to get down there and get all those tickets because it's worth it. That they're not going to spend $25,000 to go to the Garden, but they could do this whole trip for 3 of them, probably for less than 5 or 6. So you're going to get like you're going to get the fans that were at the watch parties outside. They're going to be inside of the building in San Antonio.
But see,
that's going to be a totally different vibe.
See,
that's a totally different energy.
But I think that helps the Spurs.
I don't think so.
I think it helps them because so this is my
those are like we talk about like I said, I jumped on the Knicks when I picked them recently, like last few weeks.
Right.
Imagine being my age and you're from New York City and you've been a Knicks fan forever, and like you and 18,000 people that go to like in Frost Bank Arena, 18 to 20,000.
Yeah.
Imagine 9,000, 10,000 New York Knicks fans from New York.
That's what I'm saying. I think that helps the Knicks. I think that helps the Spurs. So this is my thought behind it.
Because I don't think the real fans were in the building in Game 3.
Well, no,
I lowered the ticket prices for Game 4. So
no, I do think that
more people in.
No, I do think that it helps the Knicks, but I think it helps the Spurs because, like, when I think about this, right? So you had games 1 and 2 here. You know, they had just, here comes the word of the day, they had just vanquished the defending champions, right? So we talked about it, right? Wemby was on his super high. You know, he thought they won the championship already. So game 1, they got shocked. Game 2, they lost in a heartbreak. So when they went to New York, it was house money. You know, that was the whole Nick pressure I was talking about. So game 3 happens, they get the win. Game 4 comes out, they're ready to rock and roll. Now, you come back here, theoretically speaking, if everything was just regular, you know, Frost Bank is going crazy, Spurs fans going nuts, but now the pressure has transferred over to you because now your season is on the line. You know what I mean? So to what you're talking about, with the Knicks fans coming and taking over and being loud, it doesn't necessarily feel like you're at home. Like it feels like you're at Madison Square Light. And I think that's what they relished. I think that's what they relished was being on the road.
Like I said, the Game 3 that they won in Madison Square Garden it wasn't like an overwhelming amount of really loud Knicks fans. It was a lot of New York fans.
I don't think it matters.
It
wasn't like what you say, 54% of the tickets.
54% of the tickets.
Yeah, but think about it this way: the Spurs, like you say, that like your point is valid. I'm not trying to disregard your point. Your point is valid. Like it wasn't the traditional Knicks fans that we're used to, but it wasn't like
standing up.
No, I know, but it wasn't like it was 30% Spurs fans there.
It might as well been. If you're not going to be if you are a New York sports
and that shit was loud enough on TV to me.
If you're a New York sports fan, there's like. It's certain fans, Philly, New York, Texas, Boston, SEC football fans. It's a different energy level that you expect. Like if energy is measured from 1 to 10, you know off the rip, LSU, Alabama, schools like Clemson, New York Knicks, whatever, they're at 8 upon entry. In the hallway, outside, buying the nuts outside of Madison Square Garden, they're already on 8. So when you get them in the building, you get on 10. But when the tickets were $12,000 for most of the section, you're not getting those type of rabid fans. So even when they got loud, if you did have some of those fans, it was people like, yo, sit down, calm down. It was like a very calm. That's why they dropped the price.
Right.
To try to get
the
more
regular
of those
people back in.
So even if they got like maybe, say they dropped that price and they got 4,000 more people who wouldn't pay 12,000, but they were able to spend 3,300 or 35. That changes in an arena that size. So I think
even with that being said, like it's still,
you still got to play the game.
It was still louder. It was still louder than the 2 games at Frostbank was. Even with that being said,
those Knicks fans were wearing the Spurs shirts and ripping them off. It was crazy. So the scene's gonna be even crazier in San Antonio. And you talk about the pressure. I don't think Mitch Johnson's doing a bad job. I just think he's having bad moments.
He's getting his pants pulled down.
But a lot of coaches and we've seen this happen play out a lot where you'll have that blunder, but it just doesn't work against you all the way. Like the team doesn't come back. You have like Golden State 2018 versus like all you had is LeBron to really guard. And it's like, you guys can't lose this game 1. And then J.R. Smith makes the play, and then you go into overtime, and then you win it by like 8 or 9. Yeah, so then you go on, you take the deep breath, you go into overtime, and then you make the adjustment and you win the game. That just hasn't happened for them in this series.
But to your point, right? The Spurs still came out with a 29-point lead, even with, how crazy you're saying that Game 4 was the real Knicks fans. They still went up 29.
Yeah, because they went 14 for 20 from 3, and then went one for 100 in the second half.
All right, so hold on. So the Spurs had the 29-point lead, right?
Yeah.
How many threes do you think San Antonio attempted in that game?
Total?
Yeah.
So 20 in the first half. I'm going to say about 38 to 42.
43. They had a 29-point lead. How many did the Knicks take?
Probably 24.
32. So you had a 29-point lead, and you still ended up with 11 more 3-point attempts than the team that came back from 29 on you. That's coaching. And
the coaches should have been like, take it to the cup.
But this is the other part.
I thought it was over. I still thought it was over at halftime.
But this is the other part.
Watching it happen when he tipped it in with 1.2 seconds left. I thought it was over because I was having a conversation with a Spurs fan at halftime, and I remember exactly what he said to me. Let me see if I can find it.
And then while you're finding that, I'm gonna say this one thing real quick. But that's the other part of it, right? Is that these young coaches. And the same thing happened with Darvin Ham when he was with the Lakers. They're so dependent on their rotations. So Mitch is going to keep Keldon in there regardless of how effective he is. Whereas Mike Brown made a bold, what some would say, I think a bold decision. He took Mikal Bridges out and then let Alvarado finish the last 7 or 8 minutes of that game. You know what I'm saying? If Mitch Johnson would have done something like that, the Spurs might have won that game, but he was so stuck in his pattern that he did his Joe Mazzulla impersonation. Like, just go out there and shoot some more threes. They'll fall eventually.
Yeah, because I said to him, I was like, he was like, they'll get it down to he said they'll get it down to 16. I was like, nah. I think they might get it down to 22. And then the Spurs ramp back up. He was like, you never know. It's like, he said, I could see the Knicks bringing it within 10. I'm like, and that was a gif of Jerry Seinfeld saying, I tell you, I don't see that happening. So it was funny because he was courtside. And he's like, I've seen it too many times. I'm like, nah, player. I'm like, claim this blowout. And then after that, I stopped texting. I just was doing some other random stuff, watching the game, cleaning up my kitchen. And I was just watching the score kind of come down. And I was like, all right, this will be all right. But I think the point I knew they were gonna win is when, granted, this sounds like cheap, but when it was cut to 4, I think Alvarado hit the 3 to cut it from 7 to 4. And then when Brunson came right back down and hit the 3 to cut it to 1, I was like, yeah, this is it. Like they're gonna find a way to win this game because it's like having it there. It's like it just the wind. You talking about the wind out of your sails if you're the Spurs. I can't see them. I couldn't see them in that game once it went to 104, 103 winning it. I just felt like it was they did everything they could to hold this team off, and they just didn't do it. Jalen Brunson hit every tough layup that he could hit. Cat got every offensive Josh Hart got almost every tough rebound defensively on the end. Alvarado made every smart play you can make. The spin crossover move in the lane that faked Wemby out because Wemby had just given up the 3 to Cat in the corner. So I think Wemby, like, listen, I'd rather give Cat that open 3 versus Alvarado, who's crafty around the hoop. And Alvarado hit him with the little spin move. He seen Wemby jump out. He crossed it back over. Layup. So I was like, yeah, they were all over the place. I think they were thinking about the previous play instead of playing the play that was in front of them. And every single time it got him out of place. That's why De'Aaron Fox crashed to double Jalen Brunson, because every time that they were doubling Jalen Brunson, he was like having to give the ball up. But in that instance, there was no reason for him to give the ball up. So De'Aaron Fox was just playing to the plays that they were playing before and not playing like, yo, this is a situation. We saw it with Detroit and San Antonio back in 2005 when Robert Horry inbounded the ball. Rasheed Wallace went to help. They kicked it back to Robert Horry. He hit the 3. It's like the most dangerous guy on that pass is the inbounder.
Yeah, but like I think that if you're the Spurs, though, you got to be absolutely sick, though, because I was doing my tracker, and coming into last night or into Game 4, Jalen Brunson was 30 of 81. You know what I mean? And they were down 2-1. In this game, they lose not only the 29-point lead. Cat had 5 points and like 4 fouls, and they lost that game. Like, you have to absolutely feel sick. And what do you think about that goaltend / not goaltend?
The
Cornette one.
I guess they viewed it as a pass attempt.
That's what I thought of it as. By the way, I think that
Robinson went up to
right,
the
but
ball.
I think he was trying to, like, after I watched it a few times, I think he was shooting, and I think Mitch just read it wrong and went for it.
Yeah. But
I don't hear no Knicks fans talking about Castle not going out of bounds, though.
I thought he stepped out of bounds. Everyone was so adamant. The dudes on the baseline, everyone was so adamant.
I don't hear no Knicks fans talking about OG fouling Fox. All I heard about is how the refs are helping. I heard about is how the refs are helping the Spurs.
And I thought about you when I saw it happen. I was talking to the guy. I'm like, there's not a ref in the NBA that's calling that foul in that moment.
Didn't take his whistle.
And that's what I knew you were gonna say. But it's like it's
a foul. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's your job to call fouls.
When Tom Brady threw that Hail Mary in the Philadelphia Eagles game, the Philly special game, they pulled Gronkowski down by both shoulder pads on that.
And they not a ref in the
league. Not a ref in the league is throwing that flag.
I know. That's what's wrong with sports.
I get it. It's a variable that we are willing to accept because it's not an anomaly. It's not like it never happens. You
and that's right, Riz.
Spurs are still up 1. For this, for some reason, I only see it when it goes. I prefaced my statement after the Game 3. I was like, listen, I'm not going to blame the rest because the Knicks played terrible in Game 3. They played terrible. They had so many bad turnovers. I just didn't like the obvious, like, flagrants. Like like the Jalen Brunson when he was being pushed at the same time Cat was being tackled, and it's like that's where the action is. And I see if it's on the backside if you missed something, but like the action was where the ball was. Like that was like a triangle of like the two stars and the guy with the ball in his hand trying to get him to either one of them, and they were both being fouled. One was egregious, and it didn't get called. The Spurs were getting a lot of calls, and I think they forgot that they were getting those calls and started shooting the three because they were gonna, like I said, they were gonna get those calls because either they were gonna, it was gonna be close and maybe it was gonna be a foul. But I'm like, ultimately, the Knicks were going to be desperately swiping out the ball in the paint, trying to get every block. They went down to their third center. So they were trying.
Well, no, they were good to go. Wemby just missed the free throws.
I'm saying like throughout the game, like without shooting those threes. So
if Wemby Jordan hits free throws, the Spurs are 2-2.
But they still were up 3. That's still like someone. And then, like I said, OG was 7 of 9 from 3. Even if they were up 3 after that, you can kind of bank on that they were going to get a good look at 3. Because of the way that they were kind of overplaying the defense. And shout out to, like I said, Mike Brown putting Alvarado in because it was like, I got another ball handler in the game that can handle, first of all, he can handle New York City. He's from there. And he can handle like the moment because it's like he knew he could beat whoever was guarding him off the dribble. Because you can't trap both of them equally as aggressively because it's like there's not enough space on the floor. Like you can't get 2 guys to Jose, and then he gets to the Jalen, and you get 2 guys there, and just leave guys. It was impossible. And I think that was a smart move because McBride was the guy, but he just hasn't been hitting his shots. So I think it just was a coaching. That coaching move changed how the game was going to play out versus Mitch Johnson, where I think he's getting a lot of heat, but Popovich had Tim Duncan out of the game. After, before the Ray Allen shot, like it happens. You make these moves and it happens. Just sometimes when it doesn't work out in your favor.
It's still LeBron. It's still LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron's block is still it. It's game 7, chase down.
Yeah,
and it was
there you go. Block. That's the right one. Greatest foul. That's right. All right. So real quick, and I promise, Raph, I promise. I promise on everything I love. This is not a Falcons joke. But did that game remind you of anything? Well, no, it doesn't remind me of the Falcons, but I was going to go somewhere else with it.
I know, not the Kobe one, not Kobe and the Celtics, because that was still the first.
No, not basketball, still football.
I mean, other than the Super Bowl, that's about it.
That took me to the AFC Championship game, Buffalo against the Oilers. That's where I went with it. The 35-3 lead.
35-3.
The quarterback, gets
unsung
hurt.
Hero.
The backup comes in, and that's what I thought of. Like I was just like, wow. Like,
I think Andrew Luck had one of those games against the Chiefs too. Yeah, he had one of those. Like Andrew Luck had a game like that against the Chiefs because my dad's a Colts fan. I thought that game was over too, and they made the comeback. I think 28-3 is still probably worse than this one because
it's a one-game scenario.
It's a one-game scenario. It's final. And in football, you have a greater opportunity to manipulate the clock to your advantage versus basketball. You got to shoot the ball.
But in the moment,
24 seconds.
But for me, in the moment, because I was deployed, it was my last deployment when I was watching this, so it's like 6 a.m. Everybody else went to sleep. And as they were walking out the tent, I said, don't go to sleep. Like, this is Tom Brady. I never thought the Patriots were out of that game. I was just like, a play or two, that's Tom Brady. Like, I didn't, but with this game.
Most upset ever.
But with this game, saying, they went into halftime with 76 points. I was like, bro, the Spurs, like, they can't blow this. Like, I literally thought it was damn near impossible.
I thought the final score was going to be somewhere in the ballpark of like 135, 116. I thought it was just going to be one of those games where I
said 110 to 99. I said 110 to 99.
At the final. I just thought I thought the third quarter. Thank you, sweetheart. I thought the third quarter, the Dylan Harper, Champagne, I thought those guys
get
were
Champagne out of here too.
I thought they were going to come back out, still keep shooting the threes, shooting it with confidence. Because if you think about it, I heard a guy on a podcast the other day basically saying, like, if you see an NBA player and he goes to an open run and they shoot if they shoot 40% from three in the league in an open run, they probably going to go 8 for 10. Just because it's like, this is what I do, is basically shoot around. And I thought that the Knicks were going to have to play so aggressive that they were going to get good looks and guys weren't going to be shy about it. Because, like, yeah, I just knocked down 3 or 4 of these in the first half. Right. I'm going to just come right back out and knock these. So I thought those shots were going to fall just because you had such a cushion. But then the Knicks ran off like 10 in a row.
I know.
Quickly. I didn't see Taylor Swift that much, but I was also like cooking and like going back and forth from the kitchen to my living room.
I saw her way more than I have any business seeing her. I don't want to see her anymore.
I see Mariska Hargitay way more. Like when she was standing on the court, like looking for somebody to
I know she was just like
she was looking for Jalen, but like Jalen wasn't doing all. She was just like looking around, so she's grabbed OG. But yeah,
I saw them all. You know, saying Chris Rock, Nas was out there. Like the whole
Nas
was out there.
How about Cat calling the fans over though? You see that?
That was a great move. That was a great
veteran.
Move.
That's veteran move. OG in the press conference, like, yeah, we're all really excited. And everyone's
so he got to be the Finals MVP now, right?
OG?
Yeah,
I think it's still gonna be Jalen. So I think he's a starter Thursday dream. I just feel like even in his quote unquote bad games, his clutch. I don't want to say it's Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, because I thought it was a little bit more, but I thought Jaylen Brown's defensive effort on a few plays in the fourth, like to stop the bleeding against Dallas. I thought that was like the push. I think Jalen just never looks like he's not the guy. You know what I mean? Like he just, even if, like you run out of stats for me every single time, it's like, 30 for 81. 21 for 61. Like you hit the stats, but like when you look at the stats and then you look at him with the ball in his hand in the fourth quarter, it doesn't match up. And then at the end of the game, he has his 30 points, he has 28 points, he has the assists, he has the big shots where they're down 9. He gets to the 7, comes back, gets to and 1, gets to the 4. Like he has those plays, and then that allows other guys to come in. Alvarado to hit the 3 from the corner, OG to be open. Granted, OG had to do his part and go 7 for 9. I just think that the way that they are attacking Jalen defensively, and he's still kind of battling through, I think that's the piece. Yo, y'all laughed at me when I said Cat was going to be a major contributing factor in this finals. Rez got on there, he was like, yo, we talk about quality talent. So I'm like, yeah. But I think his role is different. I think when you have a guy that you expect to be a 28, 10, and 7 guy because he's so big and versatile, but then he's only giving you 23 and 11 and 4, you think that's subpar. Well, the Knicks were like, well, how about you give us 17, 12, and 7? Can you do that? Can we work the offense to you? Can we get you to stretch the floor so a guy like Wemby has to guard you? That's the difference, because every time Wemby has to be anywhere near 22 feet, if he's at anywhere between 20 to 22 feet or on the bench, the Knicks are at the rim.
And hey,
and part of that because of Cat.
Just in case you're still keeping count, we're at 42 for 106 for Jalen Brunson.
But OG has a great case. I put my money on Cat after game 2. I put like $20 on it.
Yeah.
It won me like 57. Because I thought game 3 he was going to come out and have that. He was going to have that game where he knocked down 4 or 5 threes. I just felt like that was going to be like the game 3, and it just didn't happen.
So come draft night or sometime, in July, did De'Aaron Fox just sign his trade papers?
If he's not owed a lot of money, then yeah.
He is. He signed a $229 million deal. He's due $60 next year.
How many years left on it? He just signed it?
Yeah, he just signed it.
Who you got to find a sucker in the room?
4 years,
you can
4 years, 229, and it goes through 2030.
I saw at the beginning of the year,
Giannis,
it was like
Giannis watch.
I saw something at the beginning of the year. It was like I think it was Bill Simmons or something like that, and he was talking. He's like, the San Antonio Spurs team is like so fortunate because of the young talent that they have mixed with the veterans, because De'Aaron Fox eventually was going to have to, like, because you weren't going to sign him to another deal. So to have him for, like, at this point, this conversation was like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. He was like, he can be the mentor this year, probably next year. And then after that, he will be gone, but you'll be in good hands because you have Castle, Vassell, and Dylan Harper, all your rookies that you drafted. It will like worked out. But that was kind of giving you a couple of years for that, the money to work out. I'm not sure there's a $60 million trade partner. Portland might be
that cheap owner though.
Oh, yeah, dude tried to save $1 million and he's worth $4.5 billion. So it's like that's equivalent to trying to save $100 when you have 40.
I know Portland still don't even have a coach yet. He don't want to bring back Thiago Splitter.
Orlando, the assistant coach is going to Orlando because I think more teams need traditional point guards. Maybe Memphis.
Facts.
Maybe Memphis.
Yeah, they're gonna have to probably replace Ja.
Yeah, so like somebody who needs a traditional point guard with combo guard skills, because people forget Game 3, that jumper that De'Aaron Fox hit that put the lead to 5. That's probably why they're still even playing basketball. Because like I said, I feel like the Knicks just are playing at a level where like that shot's going in no matter who's shooting it in those last few seconds. So he doesn't knock down that jumper. I think the Knicks tie it up in Game 3 and win it in overtime, and then come out, and then we see the result Game 4, and the city goes up in flames, and it's going to be great. But so, like, I think this is how quickly people forget. Like, he made a lot of plays. Hell, he had a couple of threes during that stretch when they were going back and forth to put him up 7. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he had a couple of bad turnovers, but Jaylen Brown had some bad turnovers. Cat had a couple of bad fouls. It just happens. The only thing that sucks for De'Aaron Fox is that there is a proverbial better option that wasn't getting his opportunity. So it looks like, oh, you are getting in somebody else's way. There's no one on the team that you could take Jalen Brunson off the floor and replace him and keep it moving. I think that's why it looks so glaring.
And then just in case you were tracking, De'Aaron Fox in this series, 21 of 55. So look,
I don't think anybody's shooting well. Like, what was the highest total? 118? 118, 115?
Yeah, Wemby's only shooting 44%. You know what I mean? In the series, and he's fucking 7'5". You know what I'm saying? Which is just disgusting and disrespectful to the game of basketball.
I don't know. Did you notice that he was guarding Alvarado?
Yes.
I was like, how is that happening?
Well, that's what they do. They have him on Josh Hart. Like against OKC, they had him on Caruso. You know, and that way he can kind of roam and just do his own thing. That's what OKC was doing with Chet. You know what I'm saying? Chet was just being a punk.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The Chet matchup makes sense because they are, they're two sides of the same coin. But that's why they needed to guard each other. But Chet was out here. But I was like, is Wemby guarding Alvarado?
Yeah.
That's why he was so wide open. Yeah. So
but yeah,
they'll have to make some adjustments. But I don't know. This team of destiny.
I'm gonna keep hope alive. You know what I'm saying? I'm still saying that we're gonna go 7. You know what I'm saying? But I think the Knicks win it in 7. So, we'll see. But Mr. Logical,
let's hear it.
I've been wanting to have fun. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you enjoy this, Mike and Riz. You know what I'm saying? All y'all out there. This is a fun conversation. So Mr. Logical caught Bill Simmons having a conversation that seemed kind of interesting. And obviously the Knicks winning the title would be a very, very, very big deal just in the world of sports. But who else has that kind of cachet that if they won a championship, it would be somewhere at least close? It probably won't reach the level of the Knicks.
Bigger than their sport. It'd be like it'd be a earthquake type of an event.
Yeah, so go ahead. I'll let you start it off since it's your topic.
My first one, in the spirit of FIFA that I've been shitting off like last month, the U.S. men's soccer team.
Oh my God!
Listen to me now. Honestly, check it out. This is crazy shit. I thought about it after I sent it to you. I thought it'd be like, you know what? Wow. I said it at work. They did the same thing you did. I was like, are y'all serious? You not understand like how big soccer is to the world? And it's called soccer, and there's a whole history of why
it would be big to the world. I mean, like people here would act like it's big for about a day.
Now this is why I kind of give it the equivalent. New York is probably considered, if we ranked overly confident populations in America.
Okay.
New York is probably 1. LA is probably 1A. We'll say
Philly, Boston,
Chicago, Boston. Yeah, Boston's probably up there. Like just the ego level of these cities. Now, if we think on a world scale, the most cocky country is America. So on the world scale, we are what New York City is to United States. If we were in the finals, the men's soccer team was in the finals versus France or Germany or some like Argentina and they beat one of these powerhouse teams to win the World Cup, it would, I dare to say it will be bigger than the Knicks winning the championship. Just because
it's a world event. That's kind of cheating.
It's not really cheating. I understand, like that would be like that to me. Like that would be the equivalent.
That's cheating. That's cheating. All right. So how about this?
I thought that was like a good one.
No, it is a great one, but it's a great one, but it's kind of cheating because.
No, you know people disagree. Like the people in my office flat out disagree. Like even to this point where you kind of make a concession. Well, I get it. You think it's cheap.
It might be.
They flat out didn't even agree. They were like, no one would care. I was like, you mean no one would care? I'm like, people would care.
No, like everybody from England to Italy would fire their managers.
Well, yeah, they would fire the manager and they will hire whoever the manager is for the U.S. men's team immediately. Half the team will be playing in the Premier League.
All right, well, allow me to go to the NFL.
That surprised me. I thought that was going to be like, hey, man, I never thought of that. They got shit on by 5 adults.
I'm gonna go to the NFL.
NFL.
I'm gonna go to the same city. Can you imagine the fucking Jets winning a Super Bowl?
Win a Super Bowl?
Holy shit! Like you talk about miserable fans. I didn't have the Mets though. I don't have the.
You didn't have the Mets. No. I have the Jets. I got another one. I got another one for you. I think you'll like too.
But if the Jets, think about this, right? The Jets have less AFC championships than the Colts, and the Colts haven't been in the AFC East since 1999. The Jets have not won the AFC East since 2002. The Jets have not made the playoffs since 2010, and they're in the middle of New York City. Probably one of the most loyal fan bases that you could think of in sports, you know, because their fans ride just like the Cleveland Browns fans. You know, if the Jets won the Super Bowl, the earth would stop spinning on its axis.
You would see...
And they haven't won since 1969.
It would be... See, Jet fans aren't in Manhattan. They're in, like, Long Island.
Queens,
Queens. Like, so they're, like, on the... So I don't think it would flood Manhattan the way the Knicks fans are currently flooding Manhattan. It would be crazy. I think you would see a lot. You would see some people jumping.
They just got to get Wu-Tang to perform. Method Man's a Jet fan.
Because he's Staten Island, like the islands, Staten Island, Long Island, that's the Jets. The Islanders is like Mets, Jets, Islanders, Nets. Like that's your quadrant right there. the thing with the Jets that will make it so remarkable is that it seems like every year they're really good at something. Like they have really good defensive players, but they're just like so bad offensively, or they're so bad in the coaching staff, or they're just so bad at quarterback. It's like if you could just get average, if they could just the defense that they had over the last few years, if they get average play out of the quarterback and then above average game planning from the coaching staff, I think the young talent they had defensively could have made a splash. They could have made like the way Denver played in the AFC Championship game against New England. I think they could have made one of those kind of runs to where you don't have that bad turnover, you might win that game, end up in a Super Bowl. But they just keep having bad decision making. And then going back to Geno Smith now, it's just like they just keep they're on this merry-go-round of misery by themselves. Whereas everybody else, like we talk about the NFL, like, the NFL gives you an opportunity to go from worst to first every year. It happens every year in each side of the AFC, NFC, or a team that goes from first to like maybe third. It happens. It's a fluctuation. The Jets, they don't seem to be able to catch that wave to get up to the top.
If the Jets win a Super Bowl, get your Bibles out, cue Revelations, because you're going to hear those horns.
The horns of the trumpet.
Yeah, they're going to hit them trumpets. All right,
I got one. I'm gonna go baseball.
Okay.
Mike Trout's Angels. Not the Angels if he's not playing for him, but like because people feel like Mike Trout is like they call him the best player, but we never really see him because his team doesn't extend themselves into the playoffs. But I think a Mike Trout Angels team, I think it would especially more likely they're gonna be playing the Dodgers. So I think just taking down that juggernaut of the Dodgers, Mike Trout, Angels, I think that would have the Richter scale going crazy. I don't really have any like details about his stats or anything like that. I just know how he's regarded as such a, everyone says he's the best baseball player they've ever seen, and injuries kind of derailing it. If for whatever reason they can put it together, and the Mike Trout Angels, not just the Anaheim Angels or Los Angeles, Angels.
I think that would be a big deal for Mike Trout and Mike Trout fans in the vein, because Barry Bonds never won a World Series, for example. So it would be big, but I don't think. I know you're emphasizing. Well, I know you're emphasizing the Mike Trout Angels.
It has to be Mike Trout.
You know what I'm saying? But I think of it as. Nobody cares about the Angels. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about the Angels.
But they care. Like, I think the baseball community cares about Mike Trout. I think
baseball purists care about Mike Trout.
That's because he's such a genuine.
I mean, it's not like he's Taylor Swift or something.
He's like the Taylor Swift of baseball, like just genuine nice guy. I think they will highlight it all year long. If the Angels finish the year fucking 101-61. And they were number one seed in the American League, and they were like poised.
Oh, don't jump ahead of me, Riz. That's on my list. Yeah. Don't jump ahead of me.
All right, so I got that Mike Trout's Angels. Like I said, it has to be Mike Trout.
All right, now this one I reached a little bit, because I wanted to have a creative conversation. I didn't want to just be like,
you didn't want to have a chalk conversation. That's why.
Yeah. So check me out though. Check me out. So. This team got ripped away from their city. We've been clamoring for them to come back, except for Mr. Logical. If the Seattle Supersonics come back and win a title, that would be such a folklore celebration. You know what I mean? The uniforms, the hats, the design. Yeah, it's got to be the uniforms. They got to have the uniforms. Not those ones. Not the ones that they wore against the Bulls in the finals. The green and orange. The green and yellow.
To be your ambassador.
Yeah, and because Seattle, I think, was one of those teams that, because of their color scheme, how different their uniforms were. The Space Needle, Sean Kemp. So Seattle was popular in a way that a team from Seattle should not be popular.
They're more popular in the 90s than probably any team that plays on the West Coast and most of the sports
You know who
aside from the California teams.
You know who it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me a little bit, not today, but in the 90s, I'm going back. It reminds me almost of, they were like the West Coast version of the Charlotte Hornets back in the 90s, like the Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning.
Everyone had a Charlotte Hornets jacket.
Yeah.
And everyone had the Seattle Soup. Yeah.
And then it came out with
playing style.
The Hornets came out with the purple uniforms. Oh, it lights out. You know what I mean?
The playing style, the above the rim,
but then,
the energy guy, the personalities. The 90s were just flooded with personalities anyway. So,
but then to top it off, right? And if this happened, people would say sports was rigged. But if the Supersonics beat OKC in the Western Conference Finals to get to the NBA title,
you think OKC would try to claim it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought there was an agreement.
Like the Ravens, like the Colts and the Browns, or the Browns and the Ravens, or the Ravens and the Colts, like playing each other in the AFC
there was an
Championship.
agreement. I thought there was an agreement that if the Sonics came back, that the
all
history
information
would
go back.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
All right, who you got next?
All right. Like you saw the Mets once, so we don't really elaborate on that. Same thing. Cleveland Browns double down if it's Shador-led Cleveland Browns.
Oh, jeez.
Because people care. Like, I don't think people really care about the Kansas City Chiefs as much, but they really, really like Patrick Mahomes. I don't think people really cared about New England, but they just really love Tom Brady. Like the New England fans did, but like, there's no way you're a New England fan if you were born in Ohio. If you were born anywhere near the Mississippi River, like you're never even going to go to New England. But Cleveland Browns, because of the history, Jim Brown being there for the last NFL championship that wasn't a Super Bowl, but a Cleveland Browns Super Bowl, just because the fan base is so just already on tilt. And if you add a Shador, like if Shador is a starting quarterback when it happens, just the media ferocity around it, coupled with like the decades of passion for the Cleveland Browns, I think that'd be nuts. Is it bigger than New York? No, but I think it would have that same kind of drive, having just the city kind of reuniting themselves and then joining in unity in the streets. I think it would be that level of intensity for the city.
Well, you know what's funny?
And popularity for this. Yeah.
What's funny is I almost brought up the Cleveland Indians. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't do it because they hadn't won since 1948. I almost brought them up. But what I will do is switch gears the same way that you kind of went with the World Cup.
Yeah.
If Nebraska wins another national title, you know what I mean? They haven't won a title since this is college football royalty. And I'm not saying it just because I'm a Nebraska student, but they haven't won the title.
You have multiple college football teams, right?
As far
on
as
your list, like on your list that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Are they number one, or are they
no.
one of? Okay.
No,
okay.
Because my number one.
I want to rank them. I want to rank them.
Okay. Hold on. I got you.
Okay.
So Nebraska hasn't won the title since '97. You know, they played against that Miami team, you know, in 2001 in the national title game. They shouldn't have been there because they lost 62-36 to Colorado in the Big 12 championship game. But Mr. Logical, on my list, Nebraska's number 3 because I got Penn State at number 2. Notre Dame at number 1. If Notre Dame wins a national title, especially if they beat a SEC team to do it, if Notre Dame beats Alabama in a national title game, they beat Ohio State in a national title game, they beat Georgia in a national title game. For us old school people out there, Notre Dame beats Michigan in a national title game, that will get the computers putin'.
Penn State.
Okay.
I like your Penn State. I got Penn State, Notre Dame, Nebraska. Out of your list.
Why Penn State ahead? Why Penn State?
Because I think Penn State has a legendary figurehead that everybody knows, and Notre Dame just has a history that everybody's aware of. Like, Notre Dame has been Notre Dame forever. Like you don't really know how many national championships they had. You might know who Lou Holtz is, Rocket Ismail. Like you're not thinking about like was it Newt Rockney in the speech? Like that's not like a thing that's like locked into your head.
One for the
like,
Gipper.
Yeah, stuff like that. But with Penn State, you have Joe Paterno, you have
the scandal.
Very plain. You have the scandal. You have the very plain, but at the same time iconic jersey that hasn't
getting rid of a coach like James Franklin.
So you just have like this.
Well, I'm
like a bit of you have a nostalgia because no matter how old you are, if you are 40 or you're 20, Joe Paterno was coaching like for a substantial part of your like life, like if you're like between like 50 and 35 right now. So you associate Penn State with Joe Paterno, subsequently the scandal, and then like I said, like the iconic look of the team because they've looked the same for so long and they've seemed to play the same way for so long. Black shoes, blue jerseys, white pants, white helmets, all white uniform. It's just like a very iconic look. I think that would drive the nation wild.
So real quick before you go, I just want to say this one sentence real quick. Could you imagine? So this is not a team for now. I'm going back in the past a little bit. Could you imagine Georgetown winning a title in the 90s?
But
they
Iverson?
I mean, just in general, like Georgetown, like for a long time, there were people that I met that like legit thought Georgetown was a HBCU.
Literally, I was thinking the same thing. I was waiting for you to stop because I was going to say it. I thought Georgetown was a black school.
Yeah, Georgetown and Temple, Virginia. Those were the two.
I thought Georgetown for sure was a black school, and then someone told me like, it's like that's why the lawyers that work in DC.
Yeah, it's a Jesuit university. But go ahead. Who you got next?
This is kind of like a layup just because I think the guy's likable. The Buffalo Bills. That was one of Bill Simmons' suggestions. I was like, I like that. I think the Buffalo Bills, even though they whine and get the rules changed every year, I think everybody's likable. I think their team is just likable. I think people like Deion Dawkins. I don't know what's going on with your boy Keon, but he likes him. Obviously, DeMar Hamlin, him dying on the field. And
I don't think they get the New York stimulus from it, though.
You don't think they get you don't think the love? Yeah, because I guess Buffalo's kind of small. I just figure like on a I think people love that team nationally, even if you have your own team. I think if Sunday Night Football is Buffalo versus Cincinnati and you're a Raiders fan, I think you don't mind watching Josh Allen.
Actually, you know what? 400 yards. That's a good one too. I didn't have it on my list, but the Bengals would be a good one. With Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, the struggling franchise because they're like the Browns, but they just got some success sprinkled in every so often. You know what I'm saying? So that could be a good one.
They seem to get the quarterback right for a while, and then the quarterback goes to the owner and says, "Hey man, can we get 2 more hot tubs in the locker room?" They're like, "Nope." He's like, "Man, get me out of here."
And side note, you know who's in first place right now, Mr. Logical?
In
I can't
baseball?
tell you. Yeah.
Knowing you is probably the Pittsburgh Pirates.
The White Sox.
What?
The White Sox. Which brings me to my next pick. The Bulls winning a title without a Michael Jordan.
Man, we've seen that OG tip in. I'm gonna say realistically, I've seen that OG tip in 27 times in the last 2 days. If the Bulls are on this kind of run, can you Nike, first of all, is bringing back every Jordan from all 6 championships. If the Bulls get to the Eastern Conference Finals and they look like they're going to make that run, they make the move and somehow they get Giannis and then they hit on the draft pick and it just kind of works and they're making that run. they're bringing back every single pair of Jordans that won the year he won championships. They're all coming back, original colorways, $500 each. It's going to be nuts. So that's going to make the streets want it even more. So, yeah, I like that one. Because if I'm imagine, off the bat, that's the first thing I'm saying.
Could you imagine Game 7, Bulls at the Garden,
Eastern Conference Finals.
Michael Jordan walks in the arena. Shut it down. Shut it down. Like, bro, could you imagine?
My Donnie would be in the booth like this. Him and Raekwon, like, yeah.
Could you imagine? Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if Mike didn't show up.
Giannis, because they made the deal to get Giannis, just makes it hypothetical.
Even if Mike didn't show up.
Comes out in the last shots.
Even if Mike didn't show up. Imagine Patrick Ewing talking to somebody. And he turns around and Scottie Pippen's just staring at him. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
everybody would be there. The Knicks Bulls 2027 Eastern Conference Finals. I think that's enough. You don't think Mike will show up?
Why you gotta be the party pooper?
I think Mike would. I think he would. I think he would. I think a lot of legends would, because I think those franchises, because we talked about the 80s with Boston and Boston and the Lakers kind of driving the needle. I think in the 90s that Bulls, young Shaq Orlando, Knicks popularity, I think that was huge. I think they would probably pay him. They would pay him whatever number he wanted just to have him show up. Just to have that moment. But yeah, I definitely would have a run. I would drop them all, and if I was Nike, I'd drop them all at the same time. Boom.
Hey, I told you we were going to have fun, Rez. I told you we were going to have fun. All right, all right. You got any more? You got, or you tapped out? I got more.
I got the Brooklyn Nets because it's New York, and I got the Mets.
Okay,
but the Mets spend so much
money.
The
Nets is a good one. The Nets is a real good one. If they could ever get people to buy into them.
That's the problem. I don't think they have the fan base to buy into them, and I just feel like you need a little bit more of a fan base dedication to make the owner want to spend money.
So does
and
Jersey
the Mets
still
have a
rock
really
with the
rich
Mets?
owner. Yo, honestly, football is king here. Like you see, Philly people love all their teams. And Philly people love all their teams, and they rock with them. Jersey, they love their football teams, and then they love the Yankees.
Okay, fair enough. So I was thinking, I was going to keep it in New York again. I don't want to beat the dead horse, but I was wondering how big it would be if St. John's won a national title. Like if St. John's would have beat Duke in that Sweet 16 game this year, like how crazy would New York have gotten to get that rematch with UConn in the Elite Eight, the rubber match. St. John's has never won a national title, but just because they are situated in New York City, they are viewed, in my eyes, as an iconic program because they were there when the Big East. When the Big East became a thing and when it took over national media and everything, so I wonder how big St. John's would be. But Rez brought up a team that I was going to bring up earlier, and it's simple. It's chalk, so you got to have some chalk. And I'll give you a twofer. And the reason that I'll give you a twofer is because I brought up Penn State and Notre Dame. And their last national titles were a year apart. Well, you also got the Cowboys and 49ers, who last Super Bowl was a year apart. So as much as we bang on the Cowboys because they haven't won since 95 or whatever it was, the 49ers haven't won in that same window.
But those teams have been like good.
Well, the 49ers have been on the brink. They've made a few Super Bowls. Dallas still hasn't got back.
the Cowboys have, it was one year they went 8-0 at home and then lost that playoff game to Green Bay. So like they've been like a good team. They have been floundering like the Jets. That I think that's what the Cowboys is like. When are you going to get over the hump?
Yeah,
Because they have a successful history. I remember we had an argument, one of the groups talking about like if they had a winning culture or something like that, and then they went out and had a terrible year, and kind of lost my argument. But it would be a huge deal. But I think we expect them to be there because they're always equipped as far as talent, as far as ownership, as far as just the even the coaching staffs have always kind of fit. It's just there's this narrative that the owner is impatient, and that's the yeah. I think the fans would be crazy, but like I said, I'm not sure if we as sports fans have felt the Knicks were even going to be close to a championship, let alone 24 hours away from winning.
Well, like there's still
the Cowboys. Like I think the Cowboys people pick the Cowboys every year. Like I picked the Cowboys to play the Ravens probably last year. So I'm saying, I think people believe in the Cowboys. It just doesn't.
And there's still people in our age group that remember Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmett Smith, so on and so forth. Like nobody has seen the Knicks
all the time. Yeah,
like
no one's seen anybody from the Knicks other than Clyde Frazier.
In our age group, saying like you got to go back. Like the last time the Knicks won a title, and I'll be 45 in less than 2 months. The last time the Knicks won a championship, my mom was 17. You know what I'm saying?
Like, that was 16.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so like, no, I get your point, Riz. There are way more Cowboy fans, but so here's another one, Mr. Logical. And this is another one of those things. It's the same city as my previous reach, and I only brought this team up because I want to say what I'm about to say. The Seattle Mariners. Okay. So the reason that I bring them up is because back in 2001, they won 116 games. They broke the record that the Dodgers just recently tied for wins in a season, right?
Yep.
There was no Ken Griffey on that team. There was no Alex Rodriguez on that team. But in that year, Mr. Logical, there's a guy named Ichiro. He won MVP and Rookie of the Year. He was a Silver Slugger, a Golden Glove winner. They had Brett or Adam Boone, who finished third in MVP. They had Jamie Moyer, and I forgot the other pitcher's name, but they finished third and fourth in the Cy Young. Yeah, and they didn't get to the World Series that year. The Mariners are the only team. The Mariners are the only team in Major League Baseball that have never made the World Series. That's why I bring them up. You know what I mean? Yeah. But to the Knicks' point, to Rez's point, I got one for you. Not this isn't another team, but I think when the Cubs and Red Sox won, that was bigger than the Knicks.
The curse was so long. It's like I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it turned the city crazy the way the Knicks.
Well, I mean, it's New York. Like, it's always going to be overrated. Like, it's always going to, just off of numbers, you know what I mean? Like, New York is going to have an advantage from that standpoint. But I'm just talking about, like, where it stands in, like, in the history of the sport. Like,
Chicago is divided between two established baseball teams, too.
Which is weird because I've never met a White Sox fan. Well, actually, I met one. I met one when I first moved here. But besides that, everybody's been Cubs fans.
Yeah. So with the Knicks, it's like the city's not divided between Knicks and Nets. They're divided between Giants and Jets, but that also takes into account Jersey. So a lot of Giant fans are in Jersey. So it's just even with the Jets having their New York, Queens, Long Island, Staten Island fans, the Giants have jerseys, so they have like such a large number of fans anyway. So even if they float into the city, it's a lot of fans. I think Chicago, because they're completely divided between two teams, that the curse was one thing, but I don't know if it really resonated.
Yo, can you remember? But do you remember the hysteria around Bartman?
Yeah, they were going to kill him.
That's what I'm saying.
People were going to kill him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where it's just like, you know, like, just saying, like.
The fandom, like I said, I stand behind my U.S. men's soccer team thing. It won't ever happen, but maybe when I'm 106 years old, it does happen. Like see, I told you, and I pull up YouTube on my little Palm Pilot holograph phone.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. But hey,
yeah.
Tomorrow night, Game 5. Go Spurs, go. You know what I mean? And then, you know, we'll be back on Tuesday. So hopefully we'll have a Game 6 because me and Mr. Logical planned this out. It was like, hey, Game 6 would be on a night that we record. Game 7 would be next Friday and Juneteenth at the same time. Like, come on now. It don't get no better than that.
But it doesn't. When tomorrow I'm going to the parade.
And it doesn't get any better than Sports Reports is ordered. We love y'all. Like, review, subscribe, share, rate, do all the free things. Do all the good things. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time. We are everywhere, and I mean absolutely everywhere that you get your podcast. Make sure you got a Liquid Death in your hand. He is the world-famous, world-renowned, cool, calm, and collected. He was born in Texas, raised in VA, but he's representing Big Jers. He is Mr. Logical. Don't bring feelings to a fact fight.
Don't do it.
And then down here in the Alamo, you funny, Rez. Down here in the Alamo, it is your unorthodox statistician going left way faster than Davy Crockett did. I go by the name of 2-5. Don't sleep on the Spurs, y'all. Sports Reports is ordered, and let us know, who do you think would be the big championship title winners if they ended up winning a championship? We want to hear from you. But we'll be back on Tuesday. Sports Reports is ordered. Out.
Hey. Sports Reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2-5, Mr. Logical, we run this town. Real talk only, no chasing, no doubt. From the east to the west, it's the order we shout. Mic check, lights flash, game time, stay ready. 2 vets in the zone, keep the pressure real heavy. Big hits, big plays, yeah, we breaking it down. Truth rings in your speakers, every word is the crown. From the north side hustle to that southern flame. Midwest grind, west coast of the game. Sports Talk Kings, yeah, we wear that crown. Turn